Now. All right, welcome to our 2025-2026 programming launch for our communities of practice. Welcome, everyone. Randy from the core team is welcoming everyone in the chat too. If you have not already, please type your full name into the chat and let us know which region you are representing, where you are doing equity work, where you're doing this really difficult work and very important, necessary work. We're going to go on to the next slide and orient ourselves to our time tonight. We're doing a little bit of attendance. I am currently going through our agenda today. We're gonna do a little bit of a looking back and kind of capturing our journey together. There's gonna be an equity in action video, which maybe I will share, unless Lisa, you're able to share that video. It's inside the notes once we get there. We'll do a little bit of looking at some data, and then we're going to get into some breakout rooms and meet people. One of my favorite things about the conferences that we get to be is that we get to be with one another, and seeing people connect from across these areas with one another at the conferences and see one another has just been really magical to see people building community. I think it's such an amazing opportunity for us to come together as Southern California to work on equity together. Sometimes we get stuck. We're working on equity in our classroom, at our school, at our district, at our county. Like, what an opportunity that we can work on it as a whole region. We will connect. We're going to share a lot of different offerings, a wellness offering, a little bit of our conference, affinity spaces, early childhood and leadership, our meeting the moment, activating our collective power community of practice. Then we'll have a closing Mentimeter, and we'll give you all the registration links, and we'll have our gratitude and farewell. And again, I'll stay for optional networking if anyone wants to stay and connect with one another. Hi, Dr. Jordy Sparks. Hi, Dr. Lon. We have some amazing, amazing people in the room tonight. All right, let's go to the next slide. This is a framework many people may have seen. It's the social change ecosystem map. And it can, as you see on the text to the left, can help individuals, networks, and organizations align with social change values, individual roles, and the broader ecosystem. There's two compartments. The shared values are in the center. And if you're in this room right now with us, we believe you have those shared values that are in the center. We believe that you believe in equity and liberation and justice and solidarity. And then the outer circle are the 10 roles that people and organizations often show up in when they're participating in social change efforts. I'm not going to read the fullness of that, but what I will do is move us to the next slide to carry us through the conference. Because in 2022, if you're here when prior to my time on the core team, there was a conference in Riverside. Drop in the chat or put hearts up if you were at that conference in Riverside. Learn, Lead, Liberate. I know I saw a couple of people there. Antonio was there. I know Aisha was there. She's talked to me about that conference as well. But in 2023, there was Learn, Lead, Liberate in Riverside. Dr. Shelley C. Bradford was there. In 2024, we were at the Gathering of the Giants in spring, and we were focused on the guides. In Learn, Lead, Liberate, we're there with visionaries. We had some incredible speakers with us at that conference. In 2024, in the fall, we were at the social change role of storytellers. Those of you who are at Equity Camp and the strength of our stories, we had storytellers grounding into all of the different equity whys that we have, the stories that we have that keep us rooted inside this work. And then those of us who were here in March 2025 for Equity in Action Rising to the Moment, drop in the chat if you were at Equity in Action Rising to the Moment. Oh, yay. Lisa loved our storytellers. I did too. Amazing. Allison was there. Fantastic. We have been building together for a while. Mick was there too. We have been moving through kind of these social change roles. We know that all of these things are happening simultaneously. So we never think that it's only one thing that we're working on at any one time. But it is exciting for us to kind of move across all of these social change roles together and see what can we do? How can we strengthen the way that we tell our stories? How can we strengthen the way that we're weaving together the equity work we're doing across this region? How can we look to our visionaries, to our guides to help us continue on and not just start from scratch, but to, as Antonia mentioned in the speech for Gathering with Giants, to stand on the shoulder of the giants who have done this work before us. Let's move to the next slide. Maybe a view on your Zoom, Asia. I'm gonna pass the mic over to Alejandra, who we haven't just been working from a framework. The other really important piece that we are moving from is your voices as the leaders that we serve. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Alejandra to walk us through how we are doing that by grounding in the data. Alejandra?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Alejandra Portillo, Senior Evaluator for Los Angeles Education Partnership. My role is to gather data to support the ongoing planning of the 21 CSLA offerings, but also to support the team in telling the broader story of our work. And so today, I'd like to give you a sneak peek of some of the data we've collected this past summer via focus groups to identify the current needs as well as what leaders would like to see, learn, and feel and hear in our future offerings. Next slide, please. And so this data that you're seeing now is a part of a larger qualitative data set that we've been gathering over the summer through focus groups. And so as part of our focus groups that we've conducted so far in San Diego, Orange, and San Bernardino counties, we've asked our leaders to complete an individual reflection. Through this reflection, and some of you may have participated in the focus groups, so thank you for those who did. In these individual reflections, we asked leaders, what do leaders in your county need to learn? What do they need to see, feel, and hear in our future offerings? And as you can see here, the qualitative analysis that we conducted in this sample of 18 leaders, the ones that are in red were mentioned most frequently, and the themes that are highlighted in yellow and gray were mentioned less frequently. But in terms of what leaders need to know, what came up is the need to define equity and come up with a common definition of what that looks like, what that means in our work, and also learning how to bridge the gap between our language of equity and our actual actions. Other things that came up around this area are needing to learn how to build community, how to meet the needs of diverse students, and knowing and learning about practical resources and strategies for implementing equity in this time that we're living in now. In terms of what leaders need to hear, see, and feel, you'll see here that a cross-cutting theme is the stories and voices of parents, students, and educators, particularly to build empathy and understanding of the needs, the challenges, and the strengths that our communities are living through in this moment. Something else that came up as far as what leaders want to hear is, again, the cross-cutting theme around practical resources and strategies for implementing equity. In terms of what leaders want to feel, we heard a lot around community, connection, and belonging, and the need to feel connected to students and communities, and particularly building equity, building empathy. In terms of what leaders want to see in our offerings, stories of equity in action, how are leaders implementing equity in their work, stories of successes, stories of failure, so that we can learn from that. And in terms of, again, what leaders want to see, they want to see data for equity. What are the current outcomes that we're seeing in our students and our families based on the current systems that are in place that are not serving communities? And again, another cross-cutting theme is the need for practical resources, the need to elevate stories and voices of parents, students, and educators. And so we hope that with this a glimpse that we gave you, sneak peek of the data that we've been collecting, that we can ground some of the data, not just intellectually, but also grounded in the body as we see in this visual. And this data was actually used for the planning of the future offerings that you'll be reviewing and learning more about today. We encourage you to participate in our data collection efforts. We use this data for our planning and refining and telling the broader story of our work. And with that, I'll pass it over to Caroline.
Thank you so much. Before I hit play on this video, I will say that the breakout room questions that we are going to send you off in is, what do you remember of our past work together if you've participated with us before? And then what brings you to our time together tonight if you're new to our collective? And hopefully this video reminds you a little bit of what we are here doing together. I'm Caroline Joy Cabrera King, Group Learning Lead and Core Coach, and that's what I'm doing here, organizing and being with this. But I'm very excited to hear how you're experiencing the event.
Just blessed to be here. It's been first off, it fills up my bucket to be with people that are so like-minded and open and sharing so authentically. And I'm taking so much away. I have to go take notes on what I'm learning and experiencing because it's just so much. So.
What brought me here today, honestly, was looking, introspectively at how to improve my equitable practices as a leader on our campus, and in my district itself. And how do I just be a better advocate for everyone around me? How do I express myself, and how do I just bring that out of everybody else and learn how to love each other?
So we are here as a follow-up to the November conference, and we brought more team members with us this time. So just expanding our learning, trying to figure out tools and resources that we can take back to our team to really take the work from conversation to action.
I think today I really understood the importance of community. Not that I didn't understand it before, but I believe that we're in a very unprecedented time where folks need to know how to build that community.
Left so energized and so humble in the work that we're doing, just being able to really put the work into practice and just being able to see that with our participants was just amazing to witness.
I think our first session was energizing, and I think we learned some things that we can use to tweak the next session, so I'm looking forward to it, and this has been a great experience thus far.
I understand that this is a new way of how we're navigating in this work of resistance, and that's it brings up a lot of emotions.
Honestly, yeah, I've had some great moments so far. I've been brought to tears during this program, just through multiple different seminars, getting to learn, just different people's stories, and also learning that I'm not alone in this work, and that this is just so impactful and so important.
I came here today because this conference has meant a lot to me as far as finding footing and finding other people who believe in equity, and we all come from different walks of life, so it makes it even more powerful that it's not just a set group of people.
So whoever you meet here and whoever you don't meet, even look back at the booklet of all the people. If there's anyone that you feel that you heard you want to connect with, reach out and follow up and connect. Networking is so important right now. And we have to maintain those relationships because the only way we're going to be able to do anything is by collaborating and working together.
I feel like I'm amongst my tribe. There are some powerful, powerful educators with powerful stories here that I'm happy to be a part of and happy to join in community with to make the world better, essentially. That's what we're here for.
One favorite quote that I heard from one of my sessions was focusing on students, and it said that they are human first, not just students. And when we think about meeting the needs of a student, and regardless of what behavior they're exhibiting, where they come from, what's even going on, we just need to remember to lead with empathy, lead with our hearts, and try to meet that need first.
It's okay not to understand, and it's okay not to be okay. Like, we always think we got the plan, and we always think this is the way that we can fix this kid or help this kid, but we really got to look a little bit deeper into it, is what I'm learning being here, and actually maybe even asking the kid what it is that we can do for them, instead of just saying, you know what, I know how to fix this, and I'm going to do my ABC, figure out what their ABC is, and go their route to help them get to the finish line.
Honestly, for me, it was the affirmation artist last night that blew my mind, brought tears to my eyes. So she was amazing, and I love that they added her to this workshop.
Coming and I hear Jose Luis and others, just studying leaders, and they have this new perspective. I'm leaving here hopeful with a new inspiration.
Yeah, I learned about this last week. I'm having a great time, and I'm definitely coming back.
For me, the entire process of just thinking about designing a session, working with the panelists, getting to know the participants was in and of itself so exciting and invigorating.
Oh, definitely come. If you want to enlighten yourself, it doesn't mean everything you hear you agree with. But I think that's the beauty of this organization, is that you don't have to agree.
Learning, building, connecting, and definitely reflection.
Get off the fence and get here. I've been here for 24 hours, and this is my very first time. I've never done anything like this before, and my coworkers, they've done plenty of them, and they always tell me, like, you got to get to one, you got to get to one. I'm having the time of my life. I'm meeting new people. I'm able to network and add tools to my belt that I can use, for my community. But I'm linking up with people from different communities, different areas, different, ethnicities and stuff like that. And I think that's the most part that I'm learning. Like, you don't have to look like me and deal with kids that look like me to be having the same issues that I'm dealing with.
This is John Resendez, Director of the 21 CSLA Regional Academy for the SoCal region. Man, I'm so excited that everybody's here, fully engaged, leaning in, doing the work. This is Equity in Action, everybody. Get it done.
All right, y'all. We are going to go into breakout rooms. Sierra, if you could copy and paste those questions into the chat for us so that people know what they're talking about in the breakout rooms. Hopefully that reminded y'all of a little bit of what we're doing here together. You'll be with 3 to 4 other participants for these breakout rooms. You will have 7 minutes to get to chat to one another. Talk about what has stuck with you. That is just from March. Some of you have been here since Learn, Lead, Liberate. So you have lots of memories to pull from, and we've had programming going on all through these years, virtual, online, in person, in conference styles. So share with one another oh, thank you, Lisa. What do you remember of our past work together if you've participated with us before? And then what brings you to our time together tonight if you are new to the collective? Again, you'll have 7 minutes here, and we'll see you soon. We can go to the next slide because now we're going to share our programming with you that is upcoming this year. And we've got a lot to share with you. Let's go next slide. The first thing is starting tomorrow. So we've got a wellness offering. So I am a breathwork healing facilitator. You could hop on Zoom at 5 o'clock, find a space where you can lay down with headphones and lie down on a yoga mat or your bed once you get home and just do a little bit of wellness for yourself. Often as leaders inside this work, we get into places where we get really, really tired, and the work is not sustainable if we're not caring for ourselves and pouring into ourselves. So we are offering a series of 9 different breathwork sessions. Each of them will feature the words of some of the most revolutionary thinkers of our time. The first 3 sessions will focus on the words of James Baldwin. The next 3 will focus on the words of Bell Hooks, and the final 3 will focus on the words of Audre Lorde. So if you want to come, just be a little mindful, set aside an hour, 20 minutes for yourself so that you can pour into yourself so that you can then pour back into your community. We have a breathwork series for you. You can come to one session, you can come to all sessions. We just want to make sure that we have a wellness offering for you all here as part of the work. You can zoom in from wherever, just as you are zooming in from wherever right now. We can go to the next slide. That's one of our offerings. Yay, thank you, Christy. Thank you, Jose Luis. We are, and I know a lot of folks are really excited about this portion. We're really excited about it as well. And we are in the final stages of confirming our 2026 conference and venue. We're headed to San Diego together. And if you are present live in this meeting, you're going to receive an email as an early access registrant. Those of you who have been to our conferences before know that because we put on, I think we put on a really great conference. We get a lot of people registered into our conferences, and we have a long waiting list, and we have people who no show. And so we really want to make sure that the people who come are committed to it, committed to the conference, committed to coming, committed to the work. We will be in San Diego together. And then again, if you're here live, as part of these 42 people in this room right now, you're going to get an email. Make sure you get into that email and register because we do cap our attendance because we do cover the cost of the conference for all of our attendees. All right, the next slide I'm really excited to talk about because we are going to hear from our facilitators from our different communities of practice. On the right-hand side, you will see what those are. Our healing space for BIPOC and mixed roots leaders, that is facilitated by Anthony Jackson and Dahlia Balmier. Our moving toward us, divesting from whiteness, affinity space with Elizabeth Clays. And then our meeting the moment, activating our collective power. Antonia Isalajera is going to talk about that. It's facilitated by our core team. But we do have a little bit of an incentive for people who will participate in our virtual offerings for this semester. If you journey through one of the full arcs of our virtual sessions, you're going to be invited to take part in our Thursday night cohort. those of you who have been to our conferences before know we go from Friday to Saturday. This means there's going to be a group of leaders who are coming on Thursday. We're going to cover that additional night of stay. We're going to do a beautiful community building dinner together. We're going to have an additional evening of learning, unlearning, building, celebrating together, building momentum inside the equity work that will carry us into the conference for that Friday, Saturday. This is an incredible opportunity. So if you participate in that healing space with Anthony and Dahlia, or that moving toward us space with Elizabeth, or the meeting the moment collective with the core team, you will get to come on the Thursday night rather than the Friday night. This is going to be an amazing group. It's people really committed to doing the learning this semester. I know that like me, I know many people were upset and saddened that we weren't able to gather together in conference style this November, but this is going to be a great opportunity to, over the course of 4 or 5 sessions, build with people online and then get to build with those people in person as soon as we get back together in 2026. So with that, we'll go to that next slide. And Anthony and Dahlia, if you can talk us through a little bit of your offering and your sessions, invite people into your work.
Dahlia and I basically we bring hopefully as many of y'all as we possibly can together to just engage in affinity space work where we are able to discuss some things that you might not be able to discuss, possibly at your school. It's about community building. It's about basically engaging in what I consider key tenets of leadership work. It's tender, it's gentle, but also we talk about some fierce and urgent work as well in the space. And I think that's really important. Um, Dahlia basically leads the mixed roots piece of it. I lead the BIPOC leaders of color, but it's all kind of mixed together and matched together. And we've had really powerful experiences with the last group that we led, just really meaningful. And I hope that you can join us. Saturdays, these dates are Saturdays. It doesn't say that on here. So I want to make sure you understand that each of the dates are Saturday from 10 to 12. So they're 2-hour sessions. And I think you'll get a lot out of it. Say more, Dahlia.
No, I think you really covered. I think the only thing I'll add to that is like as BIPOC folks and people with mixed roots back heritages, we don't get enough time to really unpack. We're constantly like many of us just out there doing the work and not really taking the time to unpack and just be in community with folks in a different way. So I hope that this is something that we can offer to all of you as you join our time together on Saturday mornings just for a few hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One more thing. I also want to stress that our particular affinity space is also a celebration of our ability
Hmm.
to engage in meaningful work as an act of resistance to repressive policies. And that by doing this, we honor teachers that are either prevented from, and I said this in our breakout group, or uncomfortable engaging in liberatory leadership work. And so that's really important that we honor those who we know might not be able to engage with one another in this way. And we do it because of them as well. So thank you
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. Nicely said, Anthony. I just want to also say, I look forward to us working together again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, of course. You're my partner. So
That's right.
thank you so much. Caroline, that's
I
it.
know, I
We
know.
appreciate you. It turns into our own personal Zoom, so
I
we got to
know,
stop.
I know.
It's time to stop.
You guys are amazing. You both are so
Right,
incredible.
love fest, right, Tony?
And those of you who have been with us for a while know that Anthony Jackson was a keynote at Gathering of Giants. Dahlia has facilitated sessions for us. So these are two incredibly familiar facilitator faces. And if you were participating in last year's Affinity Space, you know how powerful those spaces were. So hopefully this calls to you, hopefully you register. And there are 4 sessions. 4 of those sessions, grab your coffee in the morning, a little bit of lunch, join those sessions, celebrate with them, be with them, unpack with them. And again, if you attend all 4 of those sessions, you will be invited to that Thursday night cohort to celebrate some learning together. So let's go to the next slide. And I'm going to find Elizabeth here to spotlight. We
Hello.
there you are.
If I speak, do I show up?
I'm about to grab you. You will show
Perfect.
up in a second.
I'm always a little bit jealous because Dahlia and Anthony get to work together, and I'm over here and I'm like tangentially want to be working with them, but we're all a great team. I am so excited to be here today with you. And I just want to say, just by showing up here today, there's something that's really important, especially for us white folks, and that is 90%, this is according to social psychologists, and Dr. Christina Cleveland said this. She said 90% of white folks are in coma around their understanding around whiteness and their racial identities. 90%. And so that means that here, by showing up today, you're part of that.
Hey, when did pizza? I gave you cheese. I thought you liked cheese and pepperoni. Okay.
Uh-oh. I don't know who that is. But and so that means that for us that are in the 10%, we need each other as we are learning and growing and developing and being exposed to new ways where we can divest from whiteness, because a lot of whiteness has been given to us without our, even for the most part, our knowledge when we were young. And so we're going to have two books. Anyone who's familiar, this is she's at University of San Diego. Woo woo. Dr. Mateus is down there. She talks about the emotionality of whiteness, and so we're going to unpack what it means, kind of the emotionally connections that we have to whiteness, and how do we divest from that. And then this book, which is Me and White Supremacy by Layla Saad. And that kind of goes through step by steps of ways of divesting. And so even if you don't come, I recommend you buying these. You do not have to buy them for the time together, but I always bring books because just you might want to like invest in something, even if you can't come. But I hope you'll join us. And these are also Saturday mornings. They're different Saturday mornings than the other ones. We're going to go a little bit into the new year because I couldn't be quite so, my schedule didn't allow for me to be quite so concise. And so we'll be going all the way through February.
Amazing. Thank you, Elizabeth. Can we put those names of the books in the chat?
Yeah, they were on the screen, but I will also put them. They're right using Layla Saad, Me and White Supremacy, and Dr. Mateus. So they're both of those, but I'll put them in the chat. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right, y'all, we're going to our next offering. So again, if you attend those 4 sessions with Elizabeth, you'll be part of our Thursday night cohort. We're going to celebrate together. And this is our final virtual offering that qualifies for that Thursday night cohort. Dr. Antonia Isa Lajera, will you walk us through this one?
I certainly will. So so glad to see everybody and lots of familiar faces. We know that this is an era where nothing is more important than leadership because we're not seeing it anywhere. So this offering actually is being kicked off tonight, and you'll have 5 different sessions, about 2 weeks spaced apart. And each session will be facilitated by one of the core team people. So it'll be exciting and innovative. Inside of the sessions, there's a wellness component. You're going to leave with tools and practical things, readings, things you can use with your staff. But the most important part is the networking. It's 1 hour of time, and we guarantee you will feel energized, renewed. You will be glad you came. You will be better for spending that hour. Most of you at the end of the day are exhausted, have no energy left, and we can guarantee that at the end of this time, you'll have a better evening, you'll sleep better, because these have been really carefully crafted by the people who help run this organization. So really excited about this community of practice. Part of the 21 CSLA grant is that we will create communities of practice, and that's the purpose of these 5 sessions. So hoping as many people as possible will join. Bring a team. People who didn't come tonight, add them in, please. Really expand this to your networks because we'd really love to have great attendance at these next sessions.
And Antonia, you're going to be facilitating the very first one on October 14th.
I sure am. Lucky me, I sure am.
So come join Antonia for that very first session. And this one, as you see, we have 5 different ones. And she mentioned that they're hour-long sessions. We're going to build in a 30-minute optional networking time. So you don't have to stay for that 30 minutes afterwards, but you totally can. And we hope that people are excited to build with one another. So that is our Meeting the Moment, Activating Our Collective Power community of practice. Let's go to the next slide. These are the dates for that one, and the bold is the stories. Again, the first one on October 14th with Dr. Antonia Isa Lajera will be starting with our stories. So earlier I saw in the chat some folks getting excited about stories and loving the stories back from our equity camp. If we can't make the first session, is it okay to come to you can absolutely come to the other sessions. You can absolutely come and join for the other sessions. We will talk a little bit about the attendance for the Thursday night cohort, but people are absolutely welcome for all of the sessions. And then can we sign up for the Meeting the Moment out? Yes, at the end of this, we're going to drop a little registration link in the chat. So hold tight. We're going to walk through a couple more offerings. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is what I was just saying. If you journey through the full arcs, that means going to all 4 of the healing space for BIPOC and mixed roots leaders, or all 4 of the moving toward us divesting from whiteness, or all 5 of the meeting the moment, activating our collective power. Or if you wanted to do an affinity space and the meeting the moment, you could totally do both. And as Antonia said, bring a team, bring people with you, come do this work together. All of those folks who attend all of those sessions will come for our Thursday night time together. It is going to be incredible. Let's go to our next slide.
And can I answer a question for my affinity group that I didn't
Yes.
say that was in the chat? If I can't make it to the first session, is it okay to come to other sessions? I'm not going to speak for the others, but for mine, yes, you can come to any or all. So just know that if you can't make it to the first one, it's okay.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Same for us as well.
Yeah, same thing for us as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you all. I'm going to invite Dr. Lisa Shet on to talk us through early childhood and leadership.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for staying here. 6:50. We're almost there. I do want to invite to a different type of trainings, and these are UTK trainings, early childhood trainings that are available through our programming. And these are trainings that can come to you and your space. So we have 8 modules that we do in case you have a specific interest. You see the titles here. We are aligned with the PTKLF and the UPK Universal Kindergarten California Department of Ed offerings. We do have partners all around our counties who open up their space so that we can go, but we are also able to go at no cost to you and do these trainings. And they all have a focus on equitable leadership in the early childhood space. So definitely, if this is something that you are interested in, you can get in contact through me directly. You can contact Caroline and she'll get our contact information. We bring everything. We have facilitators that are ready to have discussions on how early childhood education is a part of equitable leadership from the start. So thank you so much, Caroline, for letting me have these 30 seconds. I'm going to hand it back to you and go to my important role of sharing my screen.
Thank you so much. These are incredible opportunities here as well. Let's go to that next slide. Okay. We would like to hear from you. So we are going to do a little bit of a Mentimeter right now. So you could scan that QR code. And I don't know, Alejandra, if you have the link that you could just drop in the chat too. That might help. I'm getting some gray boxes on my screen.
I see the gray boxes too.
Okay. We've got this one is a poll to help shape our community of practice. So, what do you want our communities of practice to look like, sound like, feel like? Let me see if I can. There it is. Sierra's got us in the chat. If you can click onto that, and just after hearing all of those different offerings, what would. Ooh, this is not. Sorry, Sierra. It's the other one. Can we get the other Mentimeter? There it is. Okay. So that one that Sierra just put in, if we could click that, what do you want our communities of practice to look like, feel like, and sound like? We'll be able to share this with all of our facilitators for the meeting the moment, the affinity spaces, so that we can really respond to you all and what we want this to be like together. And then Sierra and Alejandra, if you could just let me know if we're getting some responses here, that would be great. Awesome. There it is.
Yep, we're getting some responses. I'll put them in the chat.
Fantastic. Okay. We're going to get to go be in breakout rooms a little bit longer just to say hi for just a couple more minutes because we are going to get us out of here by the top. So we'll be there for just like 4 minutes with the same. We're going to mix it up actually. And we'll put less people so that you can talk to others. Okay. And this one, I'm going to drop our virtual program in the chat so that you can see what we've got to offer. It also has the registration links. So the Canva link is right there. You could click onto that. And we are going to go into breakout rooms and answer the following question. Which of our offerings are you interested in participating in? Hopefully that virtual program will give you a summary of all of the different things that we just went over right now. Okay, quick breakout rooms of just a few minutes, and we will be back and close out our time together. We are back fast and furious for a last minute together. I'm going to do a couple of copying and pasting in case you didn't see it. The virtual program is back in the chat, and hopefully that kind of captures so you can have some time to think about that and have the registration links to register right now for Breathwork tomorrow or for any of the communities of practice. We're going to go to that last slide, or second to last slide, I guess. And this is the last piece. It's what would help you prioritize your participation in the upcoming communities of practice sessions. This one has just boxes for you to check through so that we can kind of consider that as we are facilitating practical ready to use strategies. If they were weekday evenings, if we're trying to craft another thing, we would love to hear from you. That is our final Mentimeter for the night. I am going to stick on for another 30 minutes for anyone who has any questions. If there are things that you want to talk about, if there's a leader here that you want to get into a breakout room with and continue talking to, we will send a follow-up email so that you can have all of this information. And again, please share with other leaders. If there are leaders who are not here, who are part of your team, who you know we're going to get something out of these offerings, we'd love for you to invite them into our collective. So there is the Mentimeter for that last one in the chat. And we are so grateful that you have chosen to spend some time with us tonight. And we hope that we see you back on Zoom and that we can continue to learn and build and unlearn together. Thank you all so much. And special thank you to all of the facilitators who spoke about all of the offerings tonight. Thank you all. We'll see you soon.